We're good now?
Yeah.
Perfect. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to this panel discussion today through Sacred Use Empowerment Program, where we are here to inspire, innovate, and ignite conversations and making them count. So we have a bunch of expert panelists who here today will share some beautiful, innovative self-empowerment tips that will actually support you going forward on this topic today. They've been hand chosen for their specific reasons. So as we go further into the conversation, please let us know who you are, where you're coming in from. Say hi to all of our panelists. I'm just about to let them introduce themselves in a moment. This conversation is the discipline or creating a new vibration about money, right? A lot of the conversations I have with clients myself is, why don't I have more money? Why can't I make money? Why is there no money flowing to me? And that is because it's A, their vibration, but B, it comes from the conditioning and programming that is extremely powerful within you that operates at an unconscious level. Now, to establish a new level of consciousness about this, there are certain keys that need to be, how can I explain this? Embodied. There's the word. Thank you, Spirit. As we begin to create this new vibration, right? So money is quite powerful amongst all of us. It's something that we give a lot of meaning to, and we attribute it to something big and powerful. But the biggest part of understanding how much power this has is raising your own vibration so you can see how to create it for yourself in such a powerful way, right? Using your own self-awareness, your consciousness, right? And then moving into how to embody that in this lifetime, right? So for me, I'm Allison. Welcome and hello. I am a well-known psychic channel and I'm a business alignment coach. I really love sharing with soulful women in business how to become that masterful manifester of creating money, right? Money is the leading key in all businesses. So you need to know how to do that, but you need to know how to do that in an aligned way that connects to that purpose that you are here on this earth to be, do, and have, right? So welcome, hello. Now, Anne and Susan have joined us today with this panel discussion. There are a few more that are, I think, running behind the times, but time is of the essence. Geez, spirit are flowing really fast today. Anne, let's start with you. Give us an introduction of who you are, where you're coming from, and what brought you to this conversation today.
My name is Anne Barratt and I'm based in the Blue Mountains in New South Wales, and I have a business called Empowering Health, but it's empowering individuals and the health of all aspects of life. So not just their actual health and well-being, but also the health of their finances, the health of their relationships, the health of their career. And because everything works holistically, because we are holistic beings. And I practice a number of different modalities, which I bring together in a unique way for the client. And the primary modality I use is kinesiology, which works with people's energy systems and to help identify where there might be a block in their energetic flow. And then when there's a block, that means there has to be the opposite of that is like a minus, where there's no energy going to. And so finances and money all relates to the earth element. And I always reference the Chinese 5-element theory for those that haven't seen it. And yes, but I also am a qualified hypnotherapist and mindset coach, as well as a Reiki practitioner and psychic medium as well. So I work on all levels and I incorporate everything together, combining the most ancient of Chinese theories as well as the more spiritual together with the most advanced technology as well in bioresonance and biofeedback.
Wonderful. Sounds like a you are a very powerful tool and channel to creating a vibration around money. So I'm looking forward to hearing your wisdom on this. Thank you. Susan.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sue Rumack. I'm based out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So I'm on the whole other side of the whole world from where you are. I started off as a life coach, and then I went through transitions coach, change coach, and finally ended up as specializing in empaths and highly sensitive people. The reason I work with highly sensitive people is that I am myself a very highly sensitive person, but every single client that ever came to me, that was ever attracted to me, not that I attracted, and this goes for money too, was in alignment with their need to manage overwhelm. And over the years, I created some incredibly beautiful strategies using limbic brain theory and to create the processes that people need in order to build protection within themselves, but at the same time, leave themselves open to attracting and broadcasting out those messages that bring wealth and abundance and health and happiness, and losing that overwhelm that blocks them from getting whatever it is that they need and want. Excuse me one second. And the reason that I'm here is Allison. Whatever Allison does is brilliant. And she brings the most interesting ideas for discussion. And I have been on a journey with money my entire life. So here we are. And that's why I'm here. And you'll excuse me while I get a little tiny bit of water. And it says, I said yes for a reason. I'll be right back with you. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, ladies, for this. Look, the programming is thick within us. There's so much that we are told to believe. And part of my first question to the panelists, if Sue is still here, I'm not certain.
You might be just having a drink to clear a throat.
I think so. But the first things that I wanted to touch base on, and if we have anyone live, please say hello and let us know that you are here. Otherwise, we're just talking amongst ourselves happily at the moment. I want to sort of go into three parts throughout our conversation today. Firstly, it's the goal setting and manifestation, right? So money is a really huge thing on particular goals and setting those goals. And then there's that disappointment if it doesn't work out as planned and whatnot. But the question that I really have here for the panelists today is, what do clear financial goals play in attracting money and manifesting money? So, Anne, I'd love to start with you.
With me, it's always about setting an intention and a goal, because we are then setting out our vibration of what it is that we want into our lives. But by doing that, like within the context of the work that I do, like we look at then, because once you say a goal, what is your intention? But then what are all the underlying fears that come up and the energetic blocks that come up for you? Because it's one thing to have that intention and put it out to the world, but then and then your body will start aligning towards that to help you to move towards it. But then if you need to then start uncovering all the layers of the things that have actually been holding you back from achieving that as well. And yeah, so it's important to have those goals, be clear on those goals, but then set actionable steps to work towards them as well. And breaking down, like a goal could be a big thing. Like it could be a goal to save up from, so you could have a mortgage, to buy your own house for stability. But then it's like, what else does that bring? Like, why do you want those financial goals? What are the reasons behind wanting those goals are really important as well. And I'm working with someone who, an external source, or even talking through, what your goals are with somebody else, that somebody else that has a different perspective can provide some insight and actually get you, like even just talking about things to somebody else can help bring new awarenesses within you as well, that you may not have thought about, and then help take you on that new direction and help clear blocks. I'm not sure if that answered your question now.
But it does, like, because there's three sort of subcontext to this question, right? Like, what role do clear financial goals play in attracting money, right? Well, first we have to bridge the gap of where we want to be and what we're currently doing, and there has to be practical steps to do that, right? Which is what you were talking about, Anne, is like there's finding the block, like what's the block, and let's work on the action steps that's going to open that flow for you to start raising your vibration enough that you become a vibrational match to that money that you're desiring, because the universe is going to say yes to you on every aspect that you ever ask.
And often
right?
people are asking the wrong things. Like that's what I also find. They think that they're asking for the right thing, but they're actually not. And that's when that different perspective is needed.
Another thing that I have come across with soulful women is that they're not willing to ask. They're scared to ask, right? So they know at the core of them what they really, truly want. But when they ask, they go, I don't know, because they're afraid to actually ask for what they truly, truly want. Which really leads into Sue. Love to hear from you with what role does having a clear goal create?
I believe that you have to have a target to shoot for. So that when you're able to identify what your target is, your actual outcome, not just that I want to make $100,000, but that I want to have this and this and this and this because I have made $100,000. You're going the next step beyond making the $100,000. So in creating your goals, you go that one step beyond. How will my life change when I make the $100,000? So your focus is to the first target, which is here, and then the second target, which is there. So when you've lived with the $100,000 coming in consistently for a while, then you're able to change the lifestyle to the lifestyle that you're looking for. So it's really, you're setting two targets. You're setting a future and then a post-future target. Now, in all of that, it's wonderful to set targets. It's wonderful to have intentions. It's wonderful to set up that vibrational message that goes out to the universe that says, hello, here I am. Come get me. Just jump on in. The water's great. But at the same time, as these things, as we begin to set the steps, like Anne said, you have to have a program, a plan. You have to have a village, a support system that's there with you. You need the coaches. You need the coaches. You need the therapists. You need the experts that are going to hold your hand at each level. So having the goal, setting the intention for it, also means that even though you have your planned steps, that as you reach each step, there will be, and it always, always, always happens, there will be those moments when old traumas, old belief systems, old fears, old hostility, old resistance just pops in place and goes, not going there, no matter what you do, we're not gonna let that happen. And so that's where, as Anne says, you need your experts, you need your support system, your coaches who will walk you through as those traumas come up. You can't anticipate them because you don't know when and where they're going to pop up. So for me, setting the intention is actually a whole framework of self-support that I put in place that has little warning steps along the way. Make sure that you've done this step before you do that step. Make sure that you've backed yourself up in some way in advance, so that when those things do happen, it doesn't get you stuck. Now, like you said, Allison, with those beautiful soul-centered, creative women who want to make beautiful businesses, and you ask them, what do you really want? I think it's not that women aren't used to asking. I think that it's perhaps people have been disappointed too many times that they're almost afraid to tempt fate by asking for it. But that's
Possibly,
just my
yes.
opinion. But that's just my opinion, and that's one of the things that I find working with highly sensitive career people, career women, empaths, entrepreneurs, people
Yeah.
who are incredibly creative.
Yeah, and I think it's just to digress just half a second on this conversation here, is like part of that is like the masculine and the feminine synergy between every human, right? We have a higher masculine and we have a higher feminine, and when we're in that soulful woman aspect, sometimes we're the too much in there, that we go, you know, into la, or we're sort of so there's a lot of balancing of the doing as well as the being aspect of that.
And perhaps that's one of the most important things that we can do as women entrepreneurs, or just a woman who has a dream, is that we have to remember that while we have the being, which is the creative part, which makes up the story of what's going to happen, we also have to give permission to ourselves to be the masculine as well, be the doer.
Yeah.
So that we do make things happen.
This is 100%. And this is kind of one of the things of when you're creating a new vibration, things to pay attention to, right? So when you're looking at the goal, yes, okay, it might be $100,000, right? And if you like to be specific in your manifestations, it's fantastic, right? But you can also still have a specific goal and feel your way through to it, right? And that's the other important part, is that we're physical human beings here. Our nervous system is guided by our emotions. Now, if those are playing the game in the right mind frame, right, $100,000 will be fast and simple. But if we're in resistance and we're in blocks and like we're uncertain, it's going to take 3 times as long.
Or never.
Or never, depending on the action, right? And this is the synergy of that masculine and feminine. Like there is, as I know for myself through the alignment coaching, is like, how much are you working in your business versus how much are you working on your business, right? That in itself is a vibration, right? Because one's going to make you money and one is not. So looking at when you're creating your vibration, all of these beautiful things incorporate part of that goal. So thank you, ladies, for part of that conversation. And some of this Sue has touched on already, which is our second question today. And that is understanding our money beliefs, right? Things like, how can we identify those limiting beliefs around money that are holding you back? And it's two-parted here that I kind of want to dive into between everyone today, is like, what are some of the common negative stories that you hear? But how can we reframe these and basically, how can we reframe these limiting beliefs to create a more empowering narrative rather than the one that we keep ourselves stuck in? So, for example, I can't create money. Why can't you create money? The positive aspect of that, right? The reframe of that is, I can make money, right? But there is that belief system that vibrates within you right now that doesn't believe that entirely.
And there's that other aspect, the way you've said it, is like, the can is in the future, it's not in the present.
Yes.
And so it's important to make the statements as though you've already achieved those outcomes.
Yes, the acting as if, right? It's standing in it, and it's standing in that power of making it happen, right? So I'd like to first and foremost go into maybe let's start with some of the common negative money stories that we've heard between us. Sue, what are those common ones that you've heard for yourself? And please, anyone in the audience, let us know what your money limiting belief is, because one of mine was, I can't have it.
I think that the one that I hear the most is, no matter how hard I work, I never achieve the goal that I set. I always fall way, way short. I'm unworthy of the goals that I set for myself. Another is, if I had the money, what would I actually do with it? Probably I just waste it anyway. So there's another. My daughter sat at her kitchen table with her husband 20 years ago and designed an educational support system school. That was 20 years ago at their kitchen table. She came from a family of, no matter how hard we work, we're only going to make enough money to meet our bills. He came from a family of gamblers who said, literally professional gamblers, who believe that if you gamble and you happen to get the right cards and throw the right dice, you're going to make a fortune. Okay. 20 years ago, kitchen table, that's where they started. And they have a $250 million business today.
Yeah.
And they're still revising it. Her husband had to work real hard at convincing my daughter that no matter how hard you work, you will never make enough to sustain you, even to meet your bills. She says she's finally come around to believing that she actually can 20 years later. But I hope that answered your question.
Yes, it did. Thank you.
That's good.
Anne.
Yes, well, for me, like a big one in my business context as well, and studying any form of professionalism, it was like you have to work hard in order to achieve. And I found, even though so we used to work silly hours in my corporate life, which then led to sickness, but it's like that's an aspect. I kept pushing because I believed I had to work hard in order to achieve. And so besides working full time and really long hours, I was also studying because I had to keep working hard. And then fast forward a bit to when I started studying, particularly when I was doing my EFT course. And EFT is simple practice to do. But that day, I was in class. Before I got to class, I got the worst migraine I'd ever had. And it's like, why have I got this migraine? I've done nothing wrong. I've done nothing out of the ordinary that should have even triggered a migraine. And then before we started learning, the teacher made me suffer through all that time, because I knew if I didn't go, I wouldn't get my qualification and I have to pay again for the course. And it's like then I discovered that he was actually going to use me as the example to show how effective EFT can be, but how to work through the layers of what's going on. And so as I was busy tapping away, it's like, why do I have this pain? Why do I have this pain? Oh my God, it's so difficult. Like, I'm just suffering. Like, why do I have this pain? Yet this course is so easy. And it's like, after I kept going through all my EFT points, it's like, oh, the course is easy. So my body and my subconscious mind is making it difficult for me to even be here to do this easy course, because I have to suffer to achieve. I have to suffer to achieve. And that was what my mindset, that's like the first realization I had, that I was getting all these migraines because it was just a way of my subconscious mind making it even more difficult for me to go to work and do the course even, and all those things. So the mind and the subconscious is so powerful that it can create blocks as well, be dependent on your underlying beliefs. And another one that's really important that's had been stopping me in the past was that it's not safe to be seen with money, because then you could be attacked. So that's just based on my family history, and because they're from Northern Europe, where there was during World War II, with the Russian occupation and all that. So anyone with wealth was targeted. And so instilled in me within my upbringing, it's like, oh no, you can't have shiny things because people will look at you and see you and you'll stand out and then you might get attacked. And that's another example. So, but then there's all those basic ones as well. Like, I've got multiple lists that I work with through clients because I don't know their subconscious things, and they don't even know what their beliefs are. And then so I've got multiple different financial lists that I work through, and I use muscle testing to find out what's relevant for the client. But sometimes there's more than one, and like there was for me, and there's still more. And then but I teach clients how to do self-muscle testing so they can work through such things themselves as well.
Wonderful. So we might at the end, if there is enough time, look at a practical tip for yourself and Sue, if a way to help raise your vibration, right? Muscle testing to see where you're at. You know, Sue, I'm sure you've got something in your little toolbox that you can offer us.
Always.
All right. So, and one of the comments on our watchers list is only men have money. So let's kind of, that's another theory that we're looking at here. So only men have money. It's too hard. You got to work hard. You got to hustle hard. You've got to do those things. And another one that I heard from Sue was like, I can only just make enough, right? So how could we reframe those to become a more empowering narrative? Sue, we might start with you again.
Well, I think when we think in terms of, I think each person's narrative is going to be unique to themselves. And as you tell yourself, for whatever reason, that you can't make money, won't ever make money, will never be safe with money, money will never come to you, you're not worthy, that it's too hard, that you have to work really hard to make money. I think that you have to tap in to your own inner vibration, to your body. And you have to ask yourself, when these thoughts, whatever they are, these negative hold back thoughts, I think you have to ask yourself, take yourself to a calm place and ask yourself, is this true? Or is this a story that I've told myself or somebody else has told me? Is this true? Now, you're going to ask, is it true for me? You're not going to ask that. You're going to ask of the bigger world. Is this true for the bigger world? And the answer is going to always come back. No, it's not true for the bigger world. At which points then you ask yourself, then why does it have to be true for me? And that's
really
where
powerful.
you go back. That's where you go back down deeper into your own stories, your own belief system. And then you ask your belief system, is this true? At which point your belief system will either say yes or no. If it says yes, this is true, and you do not want it to be true because you know it's holding you back, then you ask yourself, you ask your belief system, what are you afraid of? And your belief system will actually take you right to the origin story of that belief and that fear. At which point you sit with your coach and you unpack it. This is not something that most people can do by themselves. They believe they can. They follow the books. They follow the checklists that are in the books and online. And then they come to that one spot that takes them back to the beginning that says, I can't do it. But as you've asked the bigger world, is it true? And it says, no. And
so
then
what could we
your own belief
reframe it to,
system.
Sue?
Well, for me, the reframing is as simple as you have to identify exactly what is that single step that you want to take, that single thought that you want to reverse. And you reframe it from the I can't, not to the I can, but I believe. Because you have to believe first. I believe that I have always been worthy. I believe that nothing is too hard for me to attempt. So your reframing isn't taking you to the final destination. It's taking you to the first place where you could possibly get stuck.
Wonderful. Thank you. Anne?
I work on multiple levels, like with the individuals, because even a belief system has an emotion attached to it. And but we also have our neurological wiring and our cellular memory as well, other places where these beliefs could be held. And the reframe comes from, or often, like, we don't achieve what it is we want to achieve because the subconscious mind is trying to keep us safe, because there's some aspect of, am I even safe to have money? Am I safe to achieve? Am I safe to believe in these things? Because then what happens in context of my external relationships? And because, you know, any changes within an individual has an impact on their world as well. And yeah, so the easiest reframe that I do is like I literally flip the sentence around for someone. And besides working on looking at what Susan's gone through and explained to get to the underlying contributing factor, it's like, well, how do we flip that around? What is the opposite of that? So yes, is it true for me? Is this true in the world? Is it true for me? And then what is it that is the opposite, direct opposite of that? And then start working with changing your vibration to the direct opposite. So what it is that you actually do want to achieve. So like I've just written an example of money is the root of all evil, and then changing that into money is a tool that amplifies my positive impact in the world. And so, you know, and then that's what we want to resonate with. That's what we want to be working with in our businesses, particularly all the holistic health practitioners and coaches out there that are going to be watching this afterwards. It's switching that over, it's flipping that, and it's what we're vibrating at, as you mentioned earlier. It's like attracts like, it's our vibration. But if we've got things that are suppressed, we're not even aware of, we need to bring those to conscious awareness, because if they're buried, those vibrations are within us and we're not conscious of them. And so that's why it's important to identify the specific belief systems that you have or that have been buried and hidden or come through the family tree, in order to be able to release those vibrations from your being and from your energy systems, so that you can then lift your vibration to attract what it is that you want. It's like the direct opposite of what you're believing.
Yeah, powerful. We have Dina Fortune on LinkedIn saying, great conversation. So this is really, really, I'm having so much, there's so much flying around right now with all of the things. The next thing I kind of want to do now is like question 3, like all the things are floating around. Everyone's been listening to all the insights, but the next step I feel is like integrating money. Right, you've done the finding the root cause, and you've done the process to releasing it. You've created a new beautiful affirmation, you're starting to create that new pathway that's going to allow you to create more money for yourself. So how do you integrate the hell out of this?
Celebrate.
Sorry, hun?
Celebrate each
That is
single
definitely
time.
one of those
integrations.
integrations.
That's part of it. Because may I? Did you want to continue, or shall I just jump in?
No, you dive straight in, honey. That's fine.
Okay. So as we reach each tiny little milestone along the path to creating that abundance and having that wealth begin to flow in. So you're going to do all the businessy things. You're going to reinvest it. You're going to use it wisely. You're going to pay your people with it. You're going to pay it forward. Most of us forget to set aside just a tiny little bit to celebrate something, to make something memorable that creates a new cellular memory about having used that wealth for something frivolous, something that makes you feel abundant.
Can I share an example of that, Sue?
Please.
So I remember, in the context of money, I remember making my very first $10,000 launch. I was absolutely stoked beyond, right? That feeling. And I wanted to celebrate that feeling, and I wanted to really learn how to hold that vibration, right? Because that vibration was going to become the new cellular memory for my next launch, my next launch, my next launch, right? I needed to have that. So I bought these earrings.
And you're wearing them today.
And I wear them today.
Oh, they're gorgeous.
So I gave myself, so every time I have had success on the goals that I have achieved, I purchase myself something that is for me and for me only. A pair of earrings, crystal sound bowl, what have you, right?
Yes.
So in context of that, that kind of feels like, you know, one of the ways that you can integrate it, because I remember purchasing these, the very first time that I had the money to buy a pair of Moldavite earrings at like $400, I was stoked.
Oh my God.
And I could just, but the thing, what created the cellular memory for me on this was that the money was there and I didn't even question the purchase. It
Right.
was a yes. It was just, here's my card, I'm buying it and I'm walking away.
Now,
And I'm going to be.
every single time you wear those earrings, you are broadcasting a vibrational frequency, a radiographic electrical frequency that is measurable in megahertz. That's actually saying, I attract abundance. I create abundance. This is proof of my ability. And so,
and not only, sorry.
I was going to say, and so each and every step that you take on the next plan and the next plan and the next plan, you're still vibrating with that Moldavite earring on both sides, and saying to the world, I've done it before. I'm doing it now. I can do it again.
Here's my proof, and I can do it again.
Exactly. So that's what you're talking about when you're talking about integrating the money, the abundance. It's already coming to you. It has come to you.
That's exactly right. And, you know, and the crystal bowl is the same, and all the other purchase, you know, the little micro celebrations. I mean, not only are they just purchases, but they're things like having dinner with your family and just saying, I had a really fucking awesome day today. How was your day? And everyone's like, I had a great day too. And it's like, woo, let's all have a drink and celebrate. Yay. Now that I have adult children. However, it's that integration that is powerfully important. So thank you, Sue. Anne.
Yes, and integration is like, for me, it's about using all your five senses as well. It's not feeling is the most powerful of all, because feelings are our vibration, but it's also about using all of the senses as a way of integrating that into our body. So even before we've achieved our goal, it's, you know, when we're flipping the statement to our positive and what it is we want to achieve, and then it's like, well, what will you see? What will you hear? What will people be saying to you once you've achieved that? You know, what will you taste, even? What will you smell? Because smell is also plays a part with our amygdala, which is the very first part of the brain that develops when we're in utero and activates all those old memories. So working with positive smells is a powerful way to help get rid of those old amygdala emotions, which are primitive emotional reflex response emotions as well. So there's just so many ways to bridge it, but it's about bridging the gap between our material needs and our spiritual needs as well, because it all comes back to being in alignment with your purpose. And, you know, I remember I was thinking that you mentioned someone's on LinkedIn with us today. It's like a lot of people that are on LinkedIn are still in corporate jobs, and yet they want to then do something that's different, maybe something that is more meaningful than their current role is, but they're afraid to because of finances. And that is a big hurdle to step away from having that, what is but they believed to be the financial security of a steady income, to possibly working for yourself and then being dependent on yourself for those finances. But it's like working with your own vibration to align yourself to be able to still be able to fulfill all your needs that those finances provide is really important, because it doesn't have to be different. Like, I used to work in corporate, and so I know, like, you know, multi-million-dollar budgets to spend, and now I have only my own income to spend, and to be able to achieve the same type of things. So it's important to do I do visualization processes as well. I do a lot of guided visual meditations, because there's so many resources available on YouTube to help you with your alignment, to help you to visualize what it is that you want to be vibrating at, and what it is that you want to achieve and bring into your life. And so if you can't afford at the moment to have a coach, then there's lots of free resources and just guided meditations to help you with specifically the topic of money, vibration, and wealth on YouTube, for example.
And look, I really do believe, you know, I've had money coaches over the years. I've worked with, you know, people on that level, and it is so powerful to have somebody in your pocket with you, helping you create that new vibration, because it's such a powerful energy, as we said at the beginning of the discussion, that it can be so hard to work with on your own, because you're stuck in the story, because it's not only just this lifetime, but probably lifetimes before, as you said earlier, like the Europeans when they had World War II and won, right? That's not you. That's not something that happened in your lifetime. That's your parents and so forth. So that's genetic, right? And there's lifetimes of that.
And it's also epigenetic, as Anne was
Yeah.
saying earlier. I've worked with so many women and men as well. I don't work with too many men, but so many women, as they're creating their business identity and their business plan and their business structure. And quite often there will be a stumbling point. And as we go back and peel back their own experiences, to figure out where that block is coming from, oftentimes it will be an ancestral thought that comes through, and even a visualization that the client will actually have that takes them back to that ancestral time where they can see the thing that happened and speak to their ancestor and resolve the issue with that ancestor. Now we're getting into the spiritual side. We're getting into the off corporate
That's what
side.
creating a vibration about money is all about, though.
It's so much fun. So, I mean, when we're working from the modern aspect with all those financial pieces, all the thin slicing of the emotions and the senses, the sensory pieces of it, creating the identities for each piece of the work that they're working on that gives them the clarity and the structure and the grounding. But at the same time, as Anne is saying, and as you're saying, there is also that ancestral thread that still pulls them back to some point where they don't even know why they are being held captive in that part. And once they've worked on it, they've released it, they've figured it out, they've had the conversation, they've helped their ancestor to release it, which is what we do in a program. They're actually able to fly forward and really embrace that vibrational frequency that they're searching for. It's pretty spectacular when it happens. I get so excited. I get terribly excited about my own stuff.
Yes, it's quite, it creates such an impact, doesn't it? You know, on a cellular level, on a physical level, on a spiritual level, on a mental, emotional, like all of those,
and on a
all of it.
neuroscience level, on a polyvagal nervous system level, it all connects, and it's so magical when it does. I love it.
Yes, it is quite. It when you integrate it all, it does become a beautiful dance with you and the universe and the world around you.
And everything that Anne is saying is so valid. It's so integratable as well. And I think that Allison, you do that in a way with your clients as well, in the dance that you do with them. But people that come to each one of us comes to us because they align with us as well. And it has to be a fit. It has to be a fit between between your support people, your experts, your coaches. The fit has to be there. It isn't just the agenda that you offer or the experience that you have. It has to be a vibrational fit. Otherwise, there will always be resistance.
100%.
So true.
So, in all of the conversation that we've had today around, you know, finding a goal, what we want to do with our money and how we want to get there with those steps forward, understanding the beliefs that we have and how to remove them, switch them around, reframe them, and put some practical action in place and overcome them. And then finally integrating that energy that and starting to create a new vibration within yourself, right? What are some practical tips that you could offer the audience today? Maybe a habit, a financial habit that they could start using today, a mindset shift. What is it that you could help with a tip or trick today that would help our audience listening? And I'm going to start with you, hun.
Yeah, I wanted to affirm like a tip. It's just advice or a tip anyway, we'll call it, is that it's not going to be easy, that, working with a coach, the coach is not going to fix you. It's you fixing yourself, and they're just guiding you and to help address situations. And there will be times that you go off tangent, times that you will relapse, because that's what the subconscious mind is pulling you back to the way it's known you your life. And the way that it knows you has kept you safe and alive. And so that's why sometimes this resistance comes to the surface. But that's okay to relapse. You just come back online once you've acknowledged it. And that's how a coach will also help to bring you back onto your path, to remind you as well, or to point it out that you've actually gone off path. Is that in alignment with your values? Because part of the value system is really important as well. It's like valuing yourself and valuing what you really want in the future, being aware of that. And I've forgotten now, it's gone from my mind, the statement that I was going to say. But the tip is that you have to self-advocate, you have to be proactive. You're the only one that can make the changes in your life, and no one else is going to do that for you.
100%.
And do celebrate along the way. And celebrations could be like a simple acknowledgement to yourself. It's like a little pat on the back saying, I achieved this today. Like, it doesn't have to be big things. It can be little things that you've achieved every day along the way. Like, I made a new friend today. I made someone smile today. Like, they're all things to be celebrated as well. But then once you've written your financial goals, it's like the little steps that have helped you move forward on that path are to be celebrated.
Yes, 100%. Thank you so much. Sue, what's your tip or trick?
My tip or trick is, I believe in the logical mind and the creative mind. Now, some people are logical mind people. You have checklists that you have to mark off in order to feel safe and to prove that you're moving forward. We've got the creative person. We're talking about the masculine and the feminine again. You've got the creative person who just creates vision. And the more visions they create, the bigger their goal gets and the more elaborate it becomes. So my tip is, for all of you creative souls, the visionaries, practice lists, create lists, and force yourself, as hard as it is and as much as it hurts your little heart to do it. And I'm saying that from the perspective of a creative person, because that's what I am.
And the lens of love.
And the lens of love. Create a list every night before you go to bed that has your 3, not 5 or 10, but your 3 top to-dos. In the morning, you get up, you look at your list, and as you work through your 3 to-dos, or maybe you only accomplish 1, you allow your creative mind to make that 1 manifest, make it happen, so that every day you are shifting forward just a little bit. Now, for the logical-minded person who absolutely must work from a list, I'm going to ask you, cut your list into 1/3 for the day, each day. You're only going to put 3 things on it, and then get really creative to make it happen. Do something you haven't done before. Take a risk. Get out of the box that you've always been in.
It's like merging the left brain and the right brain together throughout the process.
It's an integration, right? And at first, for the logical mind, it's going to be super hard to be creative with those 3. But after a while, they're connecting body and brain, body and mind, and they begin to create a holistic new version of themselves that they can access anytime they need in order to create that sense of stability in the process that they're creating to manifest their abundance and to integrate it as well. I have a program called the Business Incubator, and it starts right from first principles. And we work it's a year-long program. It's lots of fun. It's way too much fun. But we get results in the first few weeks. So people get
Yeah.
real clarity. So they then can do all the rest of these steps as they come along.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, ladies, for sharing that. The one tip that I would have for business women who are watching this today, meet somebody new today. Meet somebody new today. Get a feel for having a conversation with someone you haven't met before. Tell them what you do. Have a conversation about that. And if it feels aligned, make them an offer. Because that's how you create a new vibration for money. You have to ask for it, but you have to do it from a place of focus and service, right? Integrity. So if you are genuinely going out there and meeting new people, and you are telling them what you do, just like we're here today, having a conversation about a topic, telling them what we do, right? The next step is, if it feels aligned and if it's the right step, is to make an offer. So anyone who wishes to work with Anne, Susan, or myself, we all have offers. And I'm going to ask Anne for the next, we've got about 5 minutes left. So for the next couple of minutes, just share briefly a way that people can get in touch with you and where we can find you. I'm sure Sophia's putting all the links where we can find you and reach you, but just quickly let us know how we can work with you.
Well, you can work with me in a number of ways. I see people one-on-one here in my clinic, and I also work with people online. A lot of the time, I have a lot of overseas clients, and I can also work remotely, especially when it comes to the biofeedback. So because we can just do that anytime, like I could do that sitting on the lounge, you could do that sitting in bed. And it's, so my offer is to anyone that's watching this is that if you're interested in finding out what your voice has to communicate with you in context of this topic, our voice being a representation of our autonomic nervous system. Yeah, reach out, send me a message via Facebook or Instagram, and or via my website. My website link I'm sure will be below, but it's www.empoweringhealth.clinic. And on Instagram, I'm at empowering_health. And Facebook, it's Empowering Health AU for Australia, AU. And yes, so message me via any of those. And yes, so then I can let you know what information I need from you. But I'm happy to offer the inner voice scan with balancing harmonic files, personalized for you, with the corresponding reports, which shows you what's out of frequency for no cost today. Normally I charge $50. But
wow,
see who comes through, and those that are genuinely interested in receiving a scan.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Anne. Do you have a link to book that in, or just reach out to you privately?
Just reach out privately, yeah, because in order for not to be charged for it. Otherwise, if you want to pay, if you'd like to pay your $50 in exchange, because energy is an exchange of service as well, you can go to my shop. So on my website, empoweringhealth.clinic/shop, and then go to the bioresonance folder and select inner voice, and then you can pay for it through there.
Perfect. Thank you.
That's all right.
Thank you. Sue.
Hey there. Okay. First of all, I'd like to invite anyone who's listening on any platform, even on the replays, to contact me for a 1-hour one-on-one coffee chat where we'll talk all about you. Now, there are 3 main areas where we could talk about you. The first is overwhelm management and strategies. If you're an entrepreneur, a business person, a healer, somebody who wants to start something, somebody who's got an overwhelming life, because you are an empath, a highly sensitive person, reach out. We'll have that conversation. So we work on overwhelm strategies. That's number 1. Number 2, with career people, career women, I run a special program for divorce identity, finding your power and your strength through vibrational frequency, through shielding, through grounding, to master all aspects of handling the overwhelm of your divorce. The third program that I offer is is business incubator. That's for anybody who's starting a brand new business. And all we need to do is figure out what it is that you want, and then we'll figure out a plan for you to get there. And then you can decide after that whether or not you want to work with me. So
Wonderful.
those are the 3 areas that you can reach me about: overwhelm, divorce, and business incubator. Starting in October, I am offering a brand new 12-week event program for social workers and therapists who want to conquer burnout, their own early burnout. So if you are in that category, a social worker or a therapist of some kind, a healer even, who feels you are verging on burnout, get in touch with me. My program is phenomenal. In 12 weeks, 12 separate events, not classes, events, you will learn how, and you will master your own burnout.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Wonderful. Thank you so much, ladies. And for myself, I have a Facebook group called The Intuitive CEO. If you would like to join me there, we talk sales, lots of manifesting them, making them, and how to make them, as well as following your flow by your human design, because that is super important when it comes to managing your energy. But that is just a fun tool that we use to do such things. So you can find me there at my Facebook group. I'm there live every week. And if you are interested in connecting with me, you can find me on Facebook or on Instagram. I am on both platforms there. Allison Cotton Soul Connector for those 2 places. So back to you, Sophia.
Sophia's not here. No, Sophia is here. Sophia's looking at all the wonderful comments that people are doing, and just like to putting in and watching. And yes, we are live on 5 different platforms, including LinkedIn, which is really nice. And we've got some people watching there. So if you have any other questions or comments, please put them in and we will get them to these wonderful panelists who joined us today. Thank you. Thank you, Anne and Sue, for joining us, and thank you, Alison, for facilitating another wonderful panel. Now, coming up very soon, can I just say I had it all ready? Next week actually in 8 days, so it's not next week, it's the week after, co-creating global harmony. Co-creating global harmony on the 24th, in 8 days' time. It's next week. But next Wednesday. Do click on the links below for everyone who's watching. Come and join us just for $1. Come and have some fun, especially in Sue's amazing tribe. Sue, did you talk about your tribe?
No, I did not.
Talk about your tribe. This is all part about creating a new vibration around money. Is what you do in your tribe certainly helps with that, because it's all about energy.
Life Force Activators. That's the name of our tribe. We meet Monday evenings, Australian time, at, I believe it is 8:30 in the evening. Yes. We talk for 1 hour, and we talk about so many different aspects, comments about energy and vibration and how we connect in the universe. We talked about, I can't even remember all the things we've talked about, but it is definitely about how we activate the energy sources in our lives, how we manage the energy that's out there. I think we've just done 3 or 4 weeks on the retrogrades and how to turn the retrogrades to your best advantage and turn it into a manifestation rather than something that's going to hold you stuck. So we did 3 or 4 weeks on that. And I think this week our topic is starting, well, what time? About 12 hours. Yes. Our topic is hope. We're talking about the energy of hope in our lives and how we bring that back into our lives when our lives seem a little hopeless. So if you're not yet a member of Life Force Activators, please come and join us. You can
definitely.
join us. I think it's, what is it, $10 per individual tribe meeting if you're not a member of Sacred U. And if you are a member of Sacred U, then all you have to do is hit join tribe and you
Yes,
can join us.
come and join. We are looking forward to that. So that's coming up in about 9.5 hours from now.
9.5
watching
hours,
live.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get some sleep because
That's
right
good.
now it's 9 p.m. in the evening for me
I'm glad you're
here in
going.
Canada.
Good. But yes, for everyone else, come and join. Come and join Sue's tribe. Plus, we've got over 20 other tribes, some amazing, especially some new tribes that are coming up, including. Well, check out the website. Check out the website. Our panel discussion next week. Then we'll be having a little break for 3 months. But we're just getting ready. We've got some exciting panels coming up in the new year. Oh my God, they're going to be great. Just getting new participants for them. So looking forward to all that. And for everyone else and for everything else, just click on the link. Click on the links and you'll find everything. Or check out our website, Sacred U, that's the letter U, .love, for everything that we offer and all our resources. Thank you. Thank you, Allison. Thank you.